The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
The Attitude Era is widely considered by many as the greatest product the WWE has ever had. Now, relive the entire journey with exclusive commentary, insights, and episodic discussion with head writer Vince Russo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Over the Edge, May 30th, 1998, the pay-per-view that my buddy Jeff Lane and myself are going to review today. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good, Vince. I thought this was a very interesting pay-per-view.
Well, listen, Jeff, and I'm being honest here. I want to thank you because I think it was originally your idea to go back and look at these Attitude Era shows and these pay-per-view shows. Because I'm going to tell you, bro, I'm going to speak specifically in my case. Having been away from wrestling for 4 years and having been away from the WWE for, God, bro, it's going on, 17 years now. It'll be 17 years in October. I've not worked there. And, the JBL digs and the WWE digs and the digs of the internet wrestling community, I'd be lying to you, bro, if there weren't days when I didn't sit here by myself in this house and you really start to question, your self-worth. I mean, you just do. You get beat up so much and you get crapped on so much and underappreciated so much that it's almost like you start buying into it. And I'll be honest with you, Jeff, I never on my own would have went back to watch any of these shows. I don't do that. I mean, I don't sit here and watch matches I was in. I don't do that. I would have never watched any of these shows if we weren't doing this show. And man, I got to tell you, the only word I could think of when we look at Over the Edge 1998 in May is like, it was a treat for me to watch this show. It was an absolute treat for me to watch this. I enjoyed it. As a wrestling fan, it put a smile on my face. I mean, it did remind me of what I did accomplish and what I was a big part of. And it was really just a treat, to go back and watch this show and really understand, no, Vince, you did write this and it was a great time and it was a great time for the business and you worked with a lot of great people. And, regardless of what anybody says, even the WWE themselves, nobody can take away history from you and what's done and what's in the can. Let's talk about this show because there were a number of things that I absolutely loved, and I know you already know what they are. But go ahead, Jeff. Start at the top.
Yeah, so we're taking place here in Milwaukee for this Over the Edge pay-per-view, and we start off with the show with Legion of Doom versus DOA. And Sonny's back, and Draws comes out as well. In the last two Raws we've done, there's been no Sonny. And, I know you couldn't remember why, but I just think it's funny that she was not there for 2 weeks. Now she's back, and there's really no mention of it, like why she hasn't been out there. Hey, Sonny's back. So I thought that was kind of weird. So I kind of feel like there was something going on backstage with her. You know what I mean? Just from the way –
I would agree with that, Jeff. I can't remember. I wish I could. But for us not to mention it and not to cover it, there was probably something going on contract-wise, problems with Sonny that I don't remember, but obviously we didn't want to talk about on air.
So the end of the match, Skull and 8-Ball do their switch, which, the entire matches they've had up to this point has instilled in the audience that they win by doing the switch out, and where the ref doesn't notice, the opponent doesn't notice, the illegal man switches with the legal man. This time it doesn't work. I thought that something was very odd with me with this finish. I feel like Droz missed his spot because one of the Harrises went over and Droz wasn't there, and then he kind of turned around. It just looked very awkward to me, but the switch does not work. Droz hits one of the whichever Skull or 8-Ball came into the match, allows Animal to give him the power slam. LOD gets the win.
And bro, what I love about this is the continuity of the storytelling, even in the matches. The agents, were all over and on top of what the story was and how these guys had been doing the switcheroo up until this pay-per-view. So look at the finish, bro. They try to do the switcheroo again, which is the story, and the new guy, Droz, who was introduced the week before, the fact that he's there, he's able to put the kibosh on it, which finally allows LOD to go over. The continuity in the storytelling, in the ring, in the match, is just an absolute thing of beauty. That, again, that's not Vince Russo. That is the agents knowing the story and knowing what the natural progression of the finish needs to be. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, bro.
I'm sure we've talked about this before, but I always think this is an interesting point, especially when you talk about how important the agent's role was in the match. Let's use this as an example. If you're sitting down to write the show, the decision is made, LOD is going to go over in this match. How does it get from that on paper? Where does the decision come? How the finish is going to take place? Let's do the switch and have it fail. Let's have Droz get involved. Probably in this specific instance, you're not going to remember the exact details, but when it goes from you on paper, LOD win, to the finished product with the agents, what's like the process to get from A to B?
Bro, it was probably this is how it would work, and these would be the bullet points of the match, because we would put bullet points of what we need in the match. Probably the bullet points were switcheroo needs to backfire, Droz needs to be involved in the finish. That would probably have been the bullet points. So now the agent looks at this. Okay, we want to continue on with the switcheroo. This time it doesn't work, and we need somehow, some way to get Droz involved in that. So we would literally give them the bullet points. Switcheroo backfires, Droz gets involved in the finish, and they would take it from there. Now, the agent would read this, and probably before they got together with the talent, they would come to me and basically say, okay, Vince, we got the bullet notes, we got the format. What exactly are you looking for? And that's when I would say to the agent, well, we've been doing the switcheroo. It's been working for DNA. Today it needs to backfire somehow with the help of Droz. Then they go with the agents. Okay, then the agent goes with the talent. This is what we need. This is the finish. And then collectively they would go over it and discuss it.
You got to be on the same page with these guys. Do you ever remember where there was disagreements with, this is what I want on paper? Maybe the agents are like, that's not going to work. We need to do this, or the talent. You know what I mean? Was there ever a lot of that, or was it pretty much?
Not a lot, but that happened, bro. That definitely happened when, he talked to the talent. If there was an objection with the talent, then the agent would come back to me while I was talking to the guys, what about this? And bro, basically, I cannot remember many times where I said, no, this is absolutely the way we have to do it. End of story. A lot of times if the talent felt strongly about something, or the agent felt strongly about something, there was a compromise where we would still get, as the writers, what we needed at the end. But the talent, as the talent, would also be, into the story and believe in the story. Now, Jeff, I don't know how this works today. I have no idea how it works today, but I could tell you that's how it worked back then.
Next, we have The Rock in ring and stuff like this. We're going to start. I always liked how, and especially when Sunday Night Heat comes into play here in a few months, which I hope they get those on the network, because there's a lot of stories in those, and right now they're not there. But things change or develop during a pay-per-view, and especially the Sunday Night Heat that was the hour before the pay-per-view started. When they come on, there's new developments. We don't just have a card of the wrestling matches that we've been leading up to. Like, we know Farooq and The Rock are having the IC title match, but here, because of this Rock in-ring, we now have a new development with this match within the pay-per-view to build interest within it. I always thought that was very good storytelling and added to the pay-per-view experience of stuff you don't want to miss. But The Rock comes out, disses Milwaukee, and after that, Farooq hits the ring. He attacks The Rock, grabs a chair. The Rock ends up with the chair, goes to hit Farooq. It bounces off the ropes, hits The Rock in the face, and Farooq ends up giving The Rock a pile driver, following what he did to him on Raw when he gave him a pile driver on the stage. So that's now 2 pile drivers The Rock has taken this week before this match. At this point, the Nation hit the ring. Farooq takes out Mark Henry, and then he leaves. And Owen and D'Lo Brown come in. So all the Nation are checking on The Rock. The refs come out with a stretcher. I absolutely got a kick out of this. Like, there's no medical personnel. Owen Hart is putting the neck brace on The Rock, like he's an expert. And then they load him onto the stretcher and take him out. So, now we know, okay, we're supposed to have this IC title match later. The Rock is hurt going into this. We're going to get a story out of this going up. So what are your thoughts on this whole deal?
Well, there's just a couple things. I mean, my first thought is like, bro, when's the last time you ever saw a pile driver sold like this? Like, now a guy gets hit with a pile driver, he's on his feet in 3 seconds, ready to go. That's the transition into the next move. Rock sold this like he'd been absolutely shot. A little inside information, bro. I'm popping huge when Owen is screaming, "Somebody get Francois." Because, bro, Francois was the little Frenchman in the back that used to work on the guys all the time. Bro, here's the funny thing. I just realized this when I was watching this show.
What's up, everyone? This is Sharia. You can catch my Impact Wrestling reviews every week on the brand, and you don't want to miss them.
Francois never came out. Like, Francois never made an appearance in front of the people. But the fact that Owen is screaming and everybody can hear, "Get Francois, get Francois." I'm sitting there and I'm saying, bro, nobody at home has a clue who Francois is. But I thought it was, I thought it was just I thought it was the greatest thing. But yeah, bro, I love how the story, like you said, Jeff, the story continues in the pay-per-view. It's not like, okay, the matches are set, nothing happens now, everybody shows up at the building and nothing happens. We're just going to go match after match after match. My God, what a lost freaking art, bro.
After this, Michael Cole's interviewing Austin about the stipulation he had Vince agree with on Raw in order for him to not press charges, was that somebody will be allowed to be out there to watch Vince McMahon referee to make sure he refs the match fairly. And Austin says that nobody has stepped up yet to watch his back for this. So just kind of a little tease for the main event, reminds the audience that stipulation's out there. And I think it kind of gets people thinking, okay, throughout the show, who's it going to be? Who's going to come out?
Well, bro, the beautiful thing about it is what he said too, Jeff, was exactly what you said, but he kind of ended it with that everybody's afraid of what the ramifications would be from Mr. McMahon. So when he says that, you're sitting there thinking, well, who wouldn't be afraid not to feel the wrath of Vince? Like now the roster is going through your mind. Who is going to have the balls? Because, Steve just made it clear. Anybody that helps him is basically going to be in the same boat that he's in, which is great because now you're thinking, you're going through that roster, who would do that? And I just felt by him adding just that little amount, everybody's afraid of the Vince ramifications. Now it really gets you start to thinking, yeah, he's right. Who the heck is going to be in Vince's doghouse,
Next was a match between Jeff Jarrett and Steve Blackman. And during the match, JR informs the audience that Sergeant Slaughter has said that The Rock still has to defend the Intercontinental title no matter what condition he's in. During the match, Al Snow comes out and joins the Spanish announcers, and he's wearing a sombrero, and Head has a sombrero, and security ends up escorting him out.
Bro, how easy would it have been, Jeff, for Al Snow to be overlooked on this show?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's the thing that I'm talking about. But here's what's happening, bro. I'm sitting there with the roster in front of me. I'm sitting there with everybody's name in front of me, and I'm saying, okay, how do we get Al Snow on this show? They just don't think that way, these days, bro. It's Al Snow would have never, ever appeared on this show in 2016. But you have that roster in your hand. The object is to get everybody on that roster over. So how do we fit Al Snow into this puzzle? Simple.
One thing I noticed, and I thought this was brilliant. I thought this is something that people today might not understand or would do. But did you notice that when Al Snow was getting escorted out, security came, was going through the crowd, Jeff Jarrett put a sleeper on Steve Blackman in the ring. Mm-hmm. So they were just sitting there in a sleeper hold. When the focus was on Al Snow, you know what I mean? The crowd could focus on Al Snow being escorted out. There was nothing crazy going on in the ring. I just thought that was something like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting to this. I just
it's not, bro. That is the agent. The agent is telling Jarrett and Blackman there's going to be a spot during this match with Al Snow. During that match, we need a rest hold. That is being discussed. That doesn't happen by chance. And again, bro, that's just how things were done back then. Dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Today, I don't know. But no, bro, that was clearly discussed with the talent.
The finish of the match, Jeff Jarrett gets the win. Tennessee Lee grabs one of Steve Blackman's kendo sticks, whacks it with him. Jarrett goes over. So I believe at this point, I think Blackman has lost twice now, both defeats to Jeff Jarrett. So
I loved in this match, bro, because I really kept my eye on him. I loved how active Tennessee Lee was. He was like just so, managers usually aren't, bro. He was so active in this match. And it's so funny because when you look at his character, he's this Southern gentleman. He's a great talker, Robert Fuller. You just don't think he's going to get involved physically. He's a showman. He's P.T. Barnum. And then he gets so actively involved in the match that it was a lot of fun to watch him. He was great, bro. If this wasn't a main story, he wasn't a main player, but he was absolutely phenomenal in that role.
Yeah, you could tell how much he got involved by all the sweat that was on his face at the end of the match. Yeah, I remember when he was in WCW and he was getting his butt kicked by, Sherry Martel. It was I thought it was freaking hilarious. Yeah. He did have good physical involvements.
Hello WWE fans, brand members and airheads. I am Chantal Air and you can watch me every weekend only on russosbrand.com because there isn't anybody out there quite like Miss Chantal Air, is there?
Next was Mark Merrow versus whoever Sable can get to defend her contract in her career. If she beats Mark Merrow, she's free from this contract, but if Mark Merrow wins, she's out of the WWF. So Mark Merrow comes out with the contract, and Sable comes out second, and she's got her fighting gear on. Sable says that she got herself into this, and she's going to get herself out of it. She doesn't need any man fighting her battles for her. So Mark Merrow starts to break down, and he asks her, what happened to us? We used to have it all, and then the business ruined our relationship. So he says he's going to give her her freedom. He's going to do what he should have done a long time ago. He lays down, allows her to cover him. Referee gets to 2, and then he reverses her over in a small package to get the win. Goes crazy like he just won the WWF championship. Tells her to get the hell out of the WWF. I'm going to let you take this. This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I love this. I love this, love this, love this, love this. Bro, and this is so far down the card. Like, bro, if this one segment was on last night's show, it would have so far and away been the best thing. Like, if this would have been a 10, everything else would have been a 1. If this was the only thing. First of all, bro, let's go back and examine a couple of things. Bro, I love the fact that JR says Undertaker's in the building. He's not scheduled to work. He's here tonight. And he says at one point, is Undertaker going to be the one to do Sable's bidding? Okay, bro? I think this is absolutely phenomenal because when he's not, and you're at home and you're watching this pay-per-view, now you're thinking, no way Undertaker's the one that has Austin's back. Now you're thinking of what happened last week. Now you're getting so excited in the anticipation. JR said Taker's in the building. He didn't come out as Sable's guy. I mean, I love that. Bro, that's stuff that's not even thought of today. It's not even thought of. JR knows exactly what he's doing. It's freaking incredible. I love the fact when Mark just said to her, you know, man, Sable, you must really hate me. He was absolutely phenomenal on the microphone here, bro. When he wraps her up, bro, this freaking celebration. You know, it was Game 7 of the World Series. Him jumping up and down. I mean, it was like absolutely phenomenal. And bro, the best thing is, you know, he's going down the aisle when it's all over and everything. And JR's absolute last line, what a jackass. You know, and bro, think about it. He'd get heat today for saying that. Like if this were Raw and that was the last thing JR said, he'd get heat. But just so fitting, everything we just saw for JR to just say, what a jackass, that just sums everything up in 3 freaking words, you know? Phenomenal, entertaining segment.
Right after this, Michael Cole interviews Sable as she goes through the curtain, and she says that she should have known better, but she thanks her fans for their support. I have to say, I like this Michael Cole always interviewing the loser. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's like entertaining. Like you tell the person that has to interview the losing coach of the Super Bowl, like it's always so awkward to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is great. I just like Michael Cole interviewing the loser. Next, we go to Doc Hendricks, who's in the back with the Nation. He's trying to get an update on The Rock. It's pretty chaotic. Nobody really tells him anything, and you can tell that The Rock is in pain and he's got the neck brace on, and Owen Hart's going insane. So
the 2 things that popped me used during this thing, bro. I listened for the little things. That's how I know I was involved. The little things I was involved. First of all, why is Owen Hart wearing sunglasses? All right, bro, he's got these sunglasses on that are almost bigger than his face. Bro, that's what I mean. Owen puts those sunglasses on because he knows some people are going to see what I'm seeing, and he knows it's going to pop them. My second favorite thing, bro, is, you know, various guys of the Nation were asking Rock to squeeze their hand. And you can clearly hear Rock saying, I can't squeeze your hand. I can't squeeze your hand. I mean, bro, it's so like, are you freaking kidding me? Like bro, here's the beauty of it. The talent. This is the talent offering all this stuff on their own. This is Vince Russo is not saying Owen wear sunglasses. Vince Russo is not writing Rock saying I can't squeeze your hand. I can't. This is the talent just adding all these little freaking gems, bro, that, oh my God, it's the little nuances, these little things, that are popping different people in the audience.
Next, we have a special bonus match. This wasn't announced, and it's Kai and Tai versus Taka Michinoku and Bradshaw in a 3-on-2. I just love how the bonus match makes sense anyway. These guys are in a storyline, you know what I mean? Like, yep. So, we're just going to throw another match on to fill the card. But by the way, you could have had this on there anyway because it makes sense. Kai and Tai go over in the 3-on-2 match. I thought this was done well as far as how it was booked with Bradshaw being so much bigger than these guys. It made sense. You know, you're not watching this and like, come on, this doesn't make sense. These little guys whooping on Bradshaw, but Taka was in the ring most of the time and they were getting on him and they would run from Bradshaw, and Bradshaw would clobber them when he was in there, and they had to double team him and stuff. I thought the match was laid out very well and very believable.
Yeah, that's like me, bro. Like I'm watching last night with Kalisto against Rusev. And I'm just like, come on, man. Come on, stop. And bro, like it doesn't matter if the match is 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. After the first 60 seconds, like I'm not believing it. There is no way. But again, bro, that's why like it's the freaking agents. It's the agents. And here you got Patterson and Briscoe and people like that behind the scenes. And their number one goal is, if we can't make the people believe, we have nothing. If we can't make them believe, we have nothing. That Rusev-Kalisto match, 90 seconds into the match last night, I don't believe it. At that point, like, I don't want to see the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's exactly right what you said. You know, when Bradshaw would come on and just stomp and punch these guys, then they would, you know, just be the flies. And, you know, here comes the second, here comes the third, just so beautifully laid out. And again, it's just, I don't see that today.
Next is a shot of Sable leaving the arena, walking up the ramp with her bags. Just little touches like this. Why do we see this? Because there's a show that goes on in the back as well as out front. This adds drama. We see Sable leaving. Little touches like this we don't get today. So next is Farooq versus The Rock, Intercontinental title match. So Farouk's out first. The Rock's music hits. He's introduced. He doesn't come out. Rock's music hits a second time. He doesn't come out. So Commissioner Slaughter comes out at this point, and he says that The Rock signed a contract to wrestle and defend the title tonight. So he orders him to come out within 10 seconds or he's going to strip him of the title and give it to Farooq. So he starts counting down 10, 9, 8. Rock's music hits for a third time, and he eventually comes out. He's got his neck brace on, and, the match starts. Interesting finish to this match. There's a false 3 count, which the ref overrides himself. Rock got his foot up on the rope, but he counted Farooq for the win. Then afterwards, he sees Rock's foot on the rope, so he waves it off. No. Rock got his foot on the rope. Quickly after this, Rock turns the tide. He cheats to get the win by putting his feet on the ropes as leverage, pins Farooq. Ref totally doesn't see this. Rock wins the match, retains the belt. After the match, Farooq gives The Rock 2 more pile drivers, and the Nation comes out, and they assault Farooq. Then DX runs in to clear out the Nation. A lot of stuff here. I like how one of the commentators, I think it was JR, points out that DX isn't here to save Farooq. They're just there to attack the Nation. So what'd you think of this match overall? Lots of stuff here.
Well, first of all, bro, I love the fact that Commissioner Slaughter is a heel and a babyface. You know, I love that fact. I mean, bro, remember, he was getting physical with Austin just 2 weeks ago, and here, you know, Rock is the heel. That doesn't – you ever see Stephanie and Triple H do that ever? Ever. They're heels across the board. So I really love that. And again, bro, the thing I loved about this is this is really just another extension of the television show. It's another chapter in the story that we're telling. It's seamless, bro. And we're going to go right from the pay-per-view right back to TV. And I love that. I don't know why, you know, they got away from that formula. The matches are still long. You have plenty of match time for the matches. But, you know, they've gotten away from it now where the pay-per-view is a standalone. It's long matches, the same stand-up interview, like in between. It was just so much better when it was laid out this way, bro.
Next is Kane versus Vader, mask versus mask. Kane gets the win with the tombstone in this match. After the match, Kane rips off Vader's mask and Paul Bearer wears it, and he stomps around like Vader. And then here comes Michael Cole again to interview the loser. And Vader cut an interesting promo. He says he got his butt kicked. He's so big. Maybe Vader time is over, and he says that he's a big fat piece of shit, and he walks off. Thoughts on this?
I love the fact when at the end of the match, you know, when Vader's standing in the ring, and he almost looks like he's crying. I love that King says, we've had some sad losers here tonight. You know, I'm talking about Sable, and now he's talking about Vader. But it's what you said, bro. I love the fact when he goes, you know, look at me. I'm so big. And then he goes, you know, I'm nothing but a big fat piece of shit. I was telling Jeff yesterday, I was talking to him last night, and I don't want to go into this long here, but Vader is one of the guys that they got their and giggles out of ribbing all the time. You know, Bruce Pritchard used to love to rib certain people, and then he would get Vince going. That's usually how it worked. Vader was one of those guys. And, you know, just the part about, look at me, I'm a big fat piece of shit. You know that was done just for their own personal entertainment. There are other Vader stories that I'll get into at another time that I think you'll get a kick out of. But, yeah, bro, he was just the guy that they loved to rib, and this was a rib on him.
What'd you think about Paul Bearer putting on Vader's mask?
I thought that was just freaking classic. And again, that's Paul Bearer. That's not written anywhere, bro. That's freaking Paul Bearer.
Next, we have a in-ring segment. Michael Cole introduces Mad Dog Vachon and the Crusher to honor them and give them plaques. And Jerry Lawler on commentary is just aggravated the whole time that these guys are out there. They're in the ring. He's making fun of them. So at one point, he gets into the ring and he grabs the microphone from Michael Cole and he tells the guys it's 1998. It's not 1948. He calls them old farts. Says they may know you in Milwaukee, but nobody knows who you are all over the world. And he tries to pull up Mad Dog's pant leg to show everybody that he's got a fake leg, that he only has one leg. And while he's doing this, the Crusher hits him with the plaque, gives him a bolo punch, and Lawler powders. So he sits back down with JR, puts on the headset, starts going nuts, and then he gets back up again, goes back into the ring, pulls off Mad Dog's fake leg. There's a little altercation, and Crusher ends up nailing Lawler with the fake leg, and Lawler sells it, and he goes back to the table. I told you my thoughts on this on the phone last night. I thought this is absolutely entertaining, how Jerry Lawler can go in there, not take himself seriously, make this so entertaining by putting over these guys. So what were your thoughts on this?
Bro, I am telling you, because I know how things worked. This whole segment was written around the fact that Mad Dog Vachon lives in Milwaukee. They're in Milwaukee, right? They're in Wisconsin. Yeah. Lives in Milwaukee and has a fake leg. I'm telling you, bro, this is Vince Russo getting a call from Bruce Pritchard saying, hey, Vince, Mad Dog Vachon is a legend in Wisconsin. He has a fake leg. Is there anything we could do with this? I'm telling you, that's how it comes about. So the whole reason this thing is built is to see somebody beat somebody with a fake leg. That's the reason for the entire thing. Bro, first of all, why isn't an announcer wearing wrestling tights? Can somebody please explain? Why isn't JBL wearing his wrestling gear anymore while he's announcing? Lawler is not an active wrestler, hasn't been an active wrestler for a while, but yet he's commentating in wrestling tights. That in itself is freaking pure gold. Okay, bro. Then he starts with the lines. He dated a one-legged girl once. She was a pushover, which is so bad. It's freaking hysterical. Then he hits him with the one, what do you call, how do you call a dog with no legs? And it doesn't matter. He won't come anyway. I mean, Lawler's just freaking setting this up. But yeah, bro, the whole idea is we know Vachon's in Milwaukee. We know he's got a fake leg. How can we have one wrestler A beat wrestler B with a fake leg? That's exactly how this thing is built. And I mean, who better than freaking Lawler? And I mean, again, bro, this is, Vachon and Crusher. A lot of people that, probably in the Northeast, people at home don't even know who they are. It doesn't even matter. This is one of the most entertaining segments on the show. And it was all Lawler, bro. Just all Lawler.
Especially, I got a kick out of Crusher with the shirt off and the cigar in his mouth.
Exactly, bro. Freaking classic.
Next, we have the six-man match, DX versus The Nation. For DX, it's Triple H and the New Age Outlaws. And for The Nation, it's Owen Hart, D'Lo Brown, and Kama. I noticed JR said that Kama was referred to as the Godfather in the locker room. I believe this is the first time that name is put with him on the air. Really, really long match. Nation gets the win. There's some outside chaos involving Mark Henry and X-Pac and China. Refs distracted with a whole bunch of stuff. There's title belts involved. Owen Hart ends up giving the pedigree to Triple H on one of the title belts, gets the win. Nation get the win here.
Yeah. I just love the fact, bro, that we got heat on the heels. You know what I'm saying? Because, bro, DX, like you said, ever since the WCW stuff, now they're becoming baby faces. They got a huge pop when they came out for the run-in earlier. And how awesome is it? This is how you get more heat on the heels and build DX up as baby faces. But, yeah, I thought the heel heat at the end was tremendous.
Doc Hendricks is in the back with Vince McMahon, Pat Patterson, and Gerald Briscoe. And Doc asked Vince if we're going to have a new WWF champion. And Vince says, well, that's up to Austin, nobody else, because he's going to be very impartial and unbiased. But Vince also says that if Stone Cold in any way assaults him during the match, he's going to stop the match, strip him of the title, and award it to Dude Love. By his hand only, this match will end. And he said that twice for obvious reasons that was pointed out. So, you get these little segments like this, and it ends up playing a huge part in the result of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Howard Finkel introduces Pat Patterson as guest ring announcer. With this lavish introduction, he's reading off note cards. Pat Patterson introduces Gerald Briscoe as the guest timekeeper, reading off these note cards, these ridiculous introductions. Introduces Vince McMahon as the guest referee. Introduces Dude Love. And he refuses to introduce Stone Cold Steve Austin because he's a bum. So before we even get into the match, what are your thoughts on these ring introductions?
Well, first of all, I am, Jeff, I can't say this for sure. I am 99.9% that I wrote these ring introductions because there are things in there that I know I wrote it. And bro, again, I wish I could, 100% say, yeah, I wrote this, blah, blah, blah. I wish I could say that. I can't because it was 17 years ago. I'm almost positive. The line really that truly gives it away for me is when they're comparing off the bat the Canadian, when they're comparing Pat Patton to other Canadian legends, Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe, and Ann Murray. I at that point, I'm like, okay, bro, then I just got to read some of these because bro, if this would have been all I ever did in my career, I would have been able to retire with this. That's it, period. When he's talking about, I knew Jerry thing because I knew I wrote all that Native American, Indian stuff. And I love when Patterson said, inside this man beats the heart of America. I mean, my God, bro, please, hold on. Here was another Pat line, bro. This industry was built upon. This industry was built upon, which, of course, I popped huge. Bro, what about the plugs for the Briscoe Brothers Body Shop? And Pat giving the address and Pat giving the phone number. And, bro, even down to the detail of the Briscoe Body Shop on the car on Briscoe's entrance. Down to that. But the fact, bro, that Patterson started going into the plug, it's worth you hear where he said here, it's worth the drive, and he gave the address and the phone number. I mean, bro, this was just absolutely unbelievable. Address of the body show. Oh, and bro, what did Patterson say? I mean, I'm sorry, what did JR say?
About the rear end work?
We know who does the rear end work there. I mean, come on, bro. Will you his third guest. Bro, here's the little things again, bro, like that. I'm like, Patterson's going through this, our third guest, and he introduces Vince McMahon. And bro, just the booing in the building is deafening. And just Vince coming out, bro. You ready? Thank you. I mean, bro, nobody would know to do that. But he's so humbled because the roar of the cheer of the crowd, he's just coming out, thank you. I mean, bro, just freaking those ring announcements, I swear, bro, I can listen to those over and over and over and over again. Just the combinations of what was said, Patterson's accent. Bro, just freaking phenomenal.
What about Vince tripping over the rope when he got into the ring and he sold it, and he was mad at either Patterson or Briscoe, exactly. Whoever was holding the rope? I thought that was good.
Yep.
So we have the match itself. A lot to cover in this match. I'm going to run through it, and then we'll go to you for the details. But Vince is about to ring the bell to start the match. At this point, the Undertaker's music hits. So Taker comes out. He is the person that is going to make sure Vince McMahon calls this match fairly, and he's following Vince around. His presence is known throughout the match. Vince keeps looking at him when he goes to count. So it's a very meaningful presence. Excuse me,
bro. We forgot a couple things. Let me just back up real quickly. First of all, bro, I just noticed this: the introduction of Dude Love, the cat that makes the kittens purr. But bro, what about before Vince goes to ring the bell and the freaking Taker music? I mean, bro, you talk about like goosebump moments. You know what I'm saying, bro? There are goosebump. Like, bro, when I watch some of these things, there are moments when I get emotional because it's so good. You got to keep in mind, bro, the fans in that building are not hearing JR's commentary. So they're not hearing Taker's in the building. Is Taker going to come out for Sable? They're not hearing any of that. So now all of a sudden, bro, you know how I talk to you all the time about setting the table for the talent, could the table have been set for a bigger Undertaker pop that all he has to do is walk out to the building and the roof's going to blow off? But that was like a goosebump moment for me. You knew that was the cue for Taker's music when Vince is ready to ring the bell. That was just a phenomenal moment.
During the match, this is just awesome. Vince keeps going over to Pat Patterson. Remind them. So this match, there was no stipulations. This is a normal match. The only stipulation was that Vince McMahon is the referee. So during the match, Pat Patterson, just a reminder that this match is a no disqualification, which obviously it wasn't. Now he's changing the rules. So JR goes berserk. Since when? Man, I popped huge for JR going nuts when Austin clothesline dude off the security rail. I mean, I rewound it 3. I mean, he's just going insane, screaming. I thought that was excellent. Eventually, Pat Patterson now reminds us that this is a false count.
I just got to stop you right there because it reminded me of something last night. There was a spot in the main event when somebody's on the outside, one of the New Day guys, and Ambrose does that thing where, he comes out through the second rope and dives on the guy.
Right.
And so he does that, which we've seen a zillion times before. And quite frankly, it's not impressive to me. If you can't dive over the top rope, I can dive through the second rope. I can go to a ring right now and dive through the second rope and be caught by somebody right now. So if you can't go over the top, it's not impressive. But he did that yesterday during the match. We've seen it a million times. It's not an important match. There's no stakes. The titles aren't on the line, nothing. And Michael Cole is screaming, "Welcome to the Dean Ambrose Asylum." And I was just sitting there like, oh, brother, like, are you serious? Like, this is an asylum. This is a crazy house. He's a crazy man because he just came through the second rope. Bro, I got to tell you something, and I don't mean to cut you off, but when you get into the spot where Taker chokeslams Patterson through the table, pulls him out of the ring, bro, every single person in that arena believes this is real. But every single person thinks they are watching a real fight. All this is real. The suspension of the disbelief is so overwhelming. It's unbelievable. Look at the crowd. When you go to Taker, pulls him out, choke slam, pulls out Briscoe. Every single person in there is believing what they're seeing is real. I'm watching that main event last night, and bro, I'm just looking at the clock. 9:01, it's 9 o'clock here when it's over. 9:02, just please end this. Please let this be over so I can go on to my next thing of business. It's unbelievable, bro, the way when everybody's burning on all 4 cylinders, every single person is believing this. And the fact, bro, that Austin uses Vince's hand Everybody in the arena is buying into by my hand and my hand only, so they know this finish is going to be legit. My God. And that's the thing, bro. I'm going to go back again to it's a different time. Okay, bro, it's a different time, so we can't convince anybody anymore that what we're seeing is actually real.
Yeah, the crowd was totally into this match. I mean, everything that happened, but there's so much story being told, and it's all through how these guys aren't just doing wrestling moves in wrestling spots. They're selling themselves. They're selling their characters. They're telling the story. The way Vince looks at the Undertaker, you know what I mean? How Vince is so upset at Dude Love for not going to cover Austin at one point. Like, what are you doing? Cover him. What are you doing? I mean, there's so much drama going on. You know, Patterson all of a sudden announces that it's a 2 out of 3 falls, or I'm not 2 out of 3 falls count anywhere match. You know, and then with the finish, they're all on the edge of their seat. They're going insane. The match goes through the set, all through the cars. There's these crazy car spots. Austin took a sweet looking backdrop onto the car. You know, eventually goes back into the ring. Austin hits the dude with a vicious chair shot, and Vince refuses to count. So at this point, Austin is getting in Vince's face. Dude is making his way up, grabs the chair, goes to hit Austin, clocks Vince instead, by accident, knocks Vince out. So Austin hits a stunner on Dude Love. You know, these false finishes were awesome. A second ref comes in to make the count. Patterson pulls him out of the ring, clocks him, knocks the referee out. So the Dude Love gets a mandible claw on Austin. Patterson goes in to count because while Dude's got the claw on, Austin's shoulders are down. So Undertaker pulls Patterson out of the ring. Bam, chokeslam through the announce table. Crowd goes insane. Patterson sells an unbelievable. Briscoe at this point slides in to try to get the count. Same thing. Taker pulls Briscoe out, chokeslams him through the Spanish announce table. Crowd goes insane again. Austin is able to escape from the mandible claw, hits another stunner on Dude Love, pulls Vince McMahon over, who is still unconscious, and counts the pin with Vince's hand. Like you said, by my hand only. The crowd bought it. This is the finish. Austin defends the title. Austin's still the WWF champion. What a match, man. What a match.
Don't forget, bro, we're not even done there. Don't forget the Taker and Austin look at the end.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, which I don't know if you knew at this point that was going to be the SummerSlam main event, but obviously, you know, we're building up something between Austin and Undertaker here. But
bro, here's the deal. Here's the deal. These shows are so good because everybody involved at that time were the absolute best at what they did. Okay, bro? I was the best writer at what I did. Patterson and Briscoe are the best agents at what they did. The talent was the best it ever was. Kevin Dunn and television production, they had the best people, doing their jobs collectively. There were no weak links. You know, I mean, JR's announcing, King's announcing. It just goes on and on and on. Bro, when I look at that main event, can you imagine this match? You know who's laying out this match? Can you imagine the conversation? Austin's there, McFoley's there, Taker's there, Briscoe's there, Patterson's there, Vince is there. Those 6 guys are laying out this artistry. Who's laying out matches today? Jamie Noble and who's the other ball-headed dude?
Mercury. Yeah, I think their agents are those guys and Billy Kidman and Dean Malenko. From what I've heard anyway.
Well, bro, no offense, but Patterson, Briscoe, Vince, Taker, Austin, Mick, just unfreaking believable, bro. And everybody involved were the best at their jobs. Fast forward 2016, I could tell you wholeheartedly, I am blackballed from 2 wrestling companies right now from people in charge, because if I were brought in to make the product better, there would be no need for them. That didn't happen back then, bro. Bro, Ed Ferrara soon gets brought into the fold because I knew how good he was. I wasn't in protect my spot mode because I knew how good I was. So, you know, if Ed wanted to come in and try to be better than me, I accepted the challenge with open arms. But at the end of the day, I knew adding an Ed was going to make the show better. They're not interested in that today, bro. Politics today are more important than making the show better. And like I said, that's why, bro, the key people in the key spots, were at the top of their game, and they were the best in the world at the time. And it was it was fun to watch, man. You know, like, yeah, bro, it's an over-the-edge pay-per-view. You know, it's like a throwaway pay-per-view, and it was what a treat and so entertaining to watch, bro. I mean, I really, 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 really thoroughly enjoyed this pay-per-view.